Good afternoon, everyone. Mike Banner from 62 Who Knew. How you doing today? We are absolutely excited about today's guest, but before we get to this man, I want to thank everybody in the last couple of weeks that has watched. Once again, we were between 70 and 80,000 viewers. Got to break that 100,000 viewer mark. We might do that tonight. Last week we were off because of President's Day. I hope you enjoyed our repeat. But tonight we have a real relevant and timely show with what's happening in the country today. But before we get to that, I want to do just a little synopsis of what 62 Who Knew is. Because every week, although we have so many loyal viewers, and I appreciate you for that, we always get more new viewers every week. So what is 62 Who Knew? What have you tuned into? Well, the whole premise of 62 Who Knew is the double-edged sword, if you would, of longer lifespans. I turned 62 approximately 6 months ago. I have the same questions as I'm approaching 62 as my father had, his father had, and probably his father before him had. We all have those questions in our mid-50s, early 60s. Should I pay off my house? Should I continue to work? Have I saved enough money? Should I take my Social Security at 62, or should I defer it to a later age? Should I consider a reverse mortgage? Is it too soon or too late for long-term care insurance? Do I need more life insurance? At my age, can I even get more if I wanted to? The questions are endless, and they've all been the same generation after generation, except for my generation, except for the generation that for the next 15 years will be turning 62 years old in this country at the rate of 10,000 people a day. Not in the world, but in this country, 10,000 people a day will be turning 62. Our generation has a different set of obstacles, or at least one set of obstacles, a different hurdle to clear, if you want to put it that way. And that is longer lifespans. In the last 3 decades, the last 30 years, medical and science breakthroughs in technology have come so far that statistically, if you make it into your early 60s, you have better than a 50-50 chance of making it to your 90s. So whereas my father, his father, and his father before him were planning for the rest of their lives at 62, which could have been 15 years, 17 years, today we have to plan for another 30 plus years. Who knew that at 62 you would still be here half the time you've already spent on this planet? And if you've been watching the show regularly for the last 94 episodes, I think this is week number 94, and have seen some of our guests from the Weizmann Institute in Israel, the 90s is nothing. We are very, very close to having average age in this country be 100 plus in the next 10 to 15 years. Imagine that. Who can do that? Well, the truth is only 1% of this great country can actually get to 62, retire with style, with safety, okay, with peace of mind. The others, like me, all have those questions. Do I need to work harder to pay off the house? Should I get a reverse mortgage? Do I have enough insurance? And that's what 62 Who Knew is about. Every week, we bring on a different expert in those realms. Reverse mortgages, long-term care insurance, life insurance, Medicare, Medicare supplemental, Medicaid. It just goes on and on. And one of those very, very big topics is real estate. Because when people retire, they usually downgrade, upgrade, but they do something to get into their retirement home. Here, of course, in our where we do the beautiful, where we do the show in the beautiful studios in Newport Richey, Florida, we actually live, or the show is coming from you, even though we have viewers all over the nation, the show is coming from you from the retirement capital of the United States of America, the beautiful state of Florida, where I think the average age is, about 112, something like that. So without further ado, I do want to introduce you. He has been here before to a nationally recognized real estate expert in the United States of America, Mr. Johnny Loewy. Little background on Johnny. He's got a massive bio, but I'm only going to give a little of it. In addition to being the president and founder of Align Right Realty, one of the fastest growing real estate franchises in the United States today, Johnny's national reputation for training literally thousands of the best real estate agents in this country is so well known. His knowledge, your style of making people, the crowd goes, well, we're not shaking hands. We do actually hug when nobody's looking. But that's another show, and that's okay. We can't tell his wife that we do that either. But we have to talk today. First of all, welcome back. It's been a few months.
Thank you.
But we got to talk about a couple of things today. We were all hoping, when you did come on, you talked about the wonderful thing that you and Align Right did almost 11 months ago, when you purchased literally tens of thousands of masks and gloves and sanitizer, and you just didn't give them to Align Right people. You were giving them to all real estate agents to help people. That was an incredible thing that you did. But we were kind of hoping a year from now there'd be no COVID-19 to talk about.
My gosh, me and everyone else.
Yeah.
Are you guys like ready for this to be over?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me a shot. Give me whatever I got to get so we can all get back to some normalcy. My gosh. Do you know, my wife and I, we were going to go on vacation to Aruba, and my wife and I, one of our favorite things, and like many couples, we like to enjoy each other's company. We love to go dancing.
Not many married couples really like that, but go ahead.
We love to go dancing. It was so funny when you said, what do you do when you get retired? And I started laughing, and I said, try to find a way that you don't drive your wife crazy is what I instantly came to mind, right, gentlemen? I'm assuming. But we love to go dancing. We went to go on a vacation a couple weeks. I turned 51, and I said, let's go to Aruba. It's such a beautiful place. We'll go dance. They actually have outlawed no dancing. They said if you're caught dancing in an establishment, get this, if you're caught dancing in an establishment, the band is instructed to stop playing, or they can be arrested for playing music while you're dancing. That's kind of what it's gotten to. So, all in all, and I just read too, Johnson & Johnson is about to release the new vaccine. I guess it's coming March 1. So they're suspecting that come April, that they're saying by mid-second quarter, more than 50% of Americans will be vaccinated.
Yeah, but who knows? We'd still be dealing with this and dealing with it in a big way.
It's insane. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and although we try not to get political on this show, and we're not going to a point, again, we do have, the far right who says, don't worry about it, everything's fine, do what you got to do. And then you got the far left going, oh my God, if you don't wear 3 masks and a hazmat suit, you're going to walk outside and die. And of course, the truth is somewhere in the middle. We have to be, very conscious of this. We do have to wear our masks. We're not 6 feet apart right now, but we also happen to be very close friends.
Well, we really are 6 feet apart. Actually, it's an optical illusion.
Yes, it is.
Bill in the back made us look like we were like super far apart.
Right. And we happen to know though that both you and I and Amber and my kids are taking unbelievable precautions in the last 12 months.
Both of us have pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, so I feel very safe.
So what we do when we go and have dinner, we actually, you can find them on Amazon. They're body condoms. It's full size. It goes all the way over, and you're okay. I mean, it's that's what we're trying to do whatever we can to be safe. And you know what? It's a time, I think, where American people can really come together, because it's times like this. You said it yourself. It's when markets and things like this happen is when giants are created, when you really see the true in someone. I think, now's the time to be taking the extra mile and watch out for your neighbors. Watch out for people that are around you, and do what you can to help. My goodness, just do what you can to help.
And although this is off the topic of real estate, there's still that echelon of the country is, wearing the mask is an invasion of my privacy. Why should I do it? Sometimes I just want to grab those people and go, to be kind to the person next to you. That's why you want to go.
I have mixed emotions about it, and I'm wondering what you guys think. You know, when I see people without a mask, I think, golly, that's so inconsiderate, right? And I think you're putting me at risk. And with having that type of situation, you know, I have to look at it and I want to say, you know what, the nerve of these guys, you know, not wearing the mask. But then again, it's their right not to wear the. So I can see their side, but I'm still pissed off they're not wearing a mask, as I feel like they're putting me in harm's.
It's very similar, which I never have brought this up.
But I will tell you, I've been in Walmart shopping, and I was there earlier today. My wife called me up, and she tells me I'm in the produce section, and she goes, make sure, she goes, you got to pick up some lettuce. She says, and I need some fresh broccoli and some fresh string beans. And I said, okay, so I'm on the phone with her, and there's a lady that's over by the string beans and stuff, and she starts going,
without a mask?
I'm like, you're not getting string beans, baby. You're going to have to
without a
can
mask,
string beans. No, she had a mask on, but it was a surgical mask, and she's coughing. I said, you're not getting the broccoli. You're going to have to settle for something entirely different. So it does make us all a little bit extra cautious, but I mean...
It's a small price to pay.
It is, but things are getting better. You know, I was on a plane, and the flights are getting more full. There was one, it was a little too full, in my opinion.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of that.
Oh, my God, I was definitely freaking out a little bit. But, you know, I think people are doing whatever they can to keep everyone as safe as possible.
Most people are.
Most people. I think that you have to... I mean, you just have to do what you feel comfortable. The real estate market is on fire right now. I mean, I got to tell you, you know, the biggest problem is there's just no inventory. It's like when we couldn't find toilet paper. It's the same thing right now. There's just no houses on the market, and houses are selling for more than asking price and more than appraised value. I mean, guys, I'm not going to kid you. We see the offers coming in and homes that are selling 40, 50, $100,000 over asking price and over appraised value. It's insane. Multiple offers.
Also, because it also causes problems with financing it. Because just because somebody will pay it doesn't mean it'll appraise out.
Absolutely.
It's a double-edged sword.
No, I agree. But Michael, they're waiving, guys. They're waiving appraisal contingencies.
Yeah, and paying the money.
And paying it out of pocket.
I know, it's amazing.
Walking to the table with $40,000, $50,000. Why? Because, well, they can, and because there's nothing available. I had somebody knock on my door, and I hear them at the door, and I said, honey, who was that? She said, a guy was knocking on the door, said he loved our house, asked us if he wanted to sell it. I said, tell him $1 million it's his.
Yeah. You would do it.
I would do it.
You go second.
Well,
you know, as we sit here today, though, many people don't know this because it's been happening a little bit at a time. If you're following the markets, then you are. You know, rates have been on the increase for about 4 or 5 weeks. 1/10 of a point, 1/8 of a point, but today...
And that's not common. No. And here's why I say it's not common.
I know what
because
you're gonna say.
Nothing political whatsoever.
I know, but it's the truth.
When the presidential election changes and a new incoming president comes in, typically rates stay low.
For a while, yes.
I wouldn't say for a while, but from what I've seen, about a year's time.
Yeah.
About a year, it stays fairly stable. Now, I think they're still fairly stable, but I definitely see them on the rise. I'm definitely a little concerned, but
we're about
to be quite frank, I think it needed a little bit of a correction.
Well, I also like that for a couple of reasons, but today was unusual. Today was unusual for a couple of reasons. Number one, just to get back to COVID for 10 seconds, it was on all the news. Today, America, unfortunately, broke 500,000 people dead.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, and our condolences and wishes go out to the families, and especially since so many of them were older people, you know, in senior living facilities. So our condolences to all those people. But for the last 3 or 4 weeks, rates have been going up about 1/8 of a point a week. Now that's very livable when the rates were at their lowest point in 30 years. So we're not basically in the mid-2s, we're high 2s, low 3s.
Right.
But today, for about an hour, all major residential lenders in the country, or most, stopped taking lock-ins. Now that hasn't happened in a few years. And when they came back, rates were 1/4 of a point higher. So 1/8 of a point for about 3 or 4 weeks a week, and today 1/4. So it inches up on you, but 5/8 of a point in a month,
wow,
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Now, it's still great, the low threes. And like you, I also think there could be, now there'll be people that disagree with me, but there's a little bit of a benefit to that, because I have so many friends. I'm going to buy, let's see if it goes down lower. You don't have to be a genius if it's at its lowest point in 30 years. Yep. There's only one place it's going to go.
It's back
so
up.
I actually think that a little bit of an increase like this might scare a lot of people into going, we need to flip the switch and buy.
Right.
But that's rising rates. Now there's no inventory to buy, and there's still that dark shadow of COVID-19. Do we want to go into?
Builders aren't getting out the permits as fast as they would like either. So new home construction is not where it needs to be either. So it's definitely a housing shortage, and not just here in Florida. I travel across the United States. We've got new offices opening up in Tennessee and South Carolina, and more offices in New Jersey. And I'll tell you, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's its own national pandemic.
That's right.
Of having no inventory. And you know, it's funny because we saw the rates were going up, and I was walking through the hallway and they said, rates just went up 1/4 point. I said, well, if we had a lot of inventory, I'd be more concerned, but there's just no homes.
Yeah.
You know, people ask you, when's a good time to sell your home, and how can we make the most profit in our home? The profit in your home is not made on the sale of the home. It's really made at making the right purchase. But now in today's market, if you're looking to capitalize on your investment, now's the time. Now, I got to tell you, I have friends of mine who buy investment properties. Only a couple.
I thought I was it.
Well, you and one other. So I have friends who buy investment properties, and they said, Johnny, what do you think about buying investment properties right now? Now, I'm in the real estate business. This is my game, right? This is what I do. And I said, you know, if you're buying to hold and buying to put a tenant inside it, I'm going to recommend you wait. And I know people get freaked out. They say, you know, you're a realtor. You should be saying a certain thing. My gosh, if we start doing that, we're no better than the political government, right? I have to vote this way or this. I'm like, no, you have to do what's right.
That's right.
So here's where I'm getting. When we start looking at investors buying property, you can't get a tenant out if they don't pay their rent.
That's right.
You can't evict them. I know that you look and you say, no, there are laws in place to getting up at such a rapid increase. Chances are you could buy a house today in 90 days, make a hell of a nice score on the house.
Yeah.
But until that moratorium is lifted, I'm advising that one friend I've got to hold off on buying investment properties with the intention of throwing a tenant inside, at least till the moratorium's up.
Yeah.
So, you know, but even rates on investment properties are still saying pretty competitive.
they absolutely
are they still in the 5s? I thought they were in the 6s now.
Actually, no. Right now, they're in the low 4s, low to mid 4s. That's funny.
Ridiculous.
In this last 4 weeks, when rates went up, they didn't, and you want to know why? Again, for those of you
because nobody wants to buy investment properties because you can't evict a darn tenant.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And the lenders and banks of this country don't want to make investor loans, but because of certain rules in their charter and certain things like the Community Reinvestment Act, they're not allowed to say we won't do investor rates.
Sure.
So let's go back a month when I was doing fixed 30-year rates at 2.5. You would think investor rates would be maybe 0.75 points higher. They weren't. They were 2 points higher. They were 4.5 because lenders don't really want to do it, and you can't really blame them. Because if the landlord can't make the payment, he can't throw the tenant out, as you said, and the bank can't foreclose. So everybody loses. Actually, except for the person living there for free. And I don't mean that badly either, but the truth of the matter is, again, I think there's a lot of people, and again, this does not count people that have suffered with COVID and lived through it, people that have lost people. But COVID-19 has become the crutch of the country.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
Why is it raining today? Well, it's got to be that COVID-19. Why isn't my house selling? COVID-19. Now, there are some logical...
Why am I not working? Why can't I not get a job because of COVID-19?
And sometimes that's true. We have down here the gambling place, the casino.
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock. And we just took a few applications from people to get mortgages with absolutely perfect credit, with a nice down payment, but they're dealers.
Right.
Not drug dealers, car dealers, okay? And you have to average their 2 years, because that's commission, basically.
Sure.
All right? But last year, since no one was allowed in the casino, they had an incredible 2019,
But a
almost
horrible
nothing in
2020.
2020.
Yep.
You average it, you have to look at good people, 800 credit scores.
Yep.
You don't qualify. Well, you don't qualify.
And you know, I got to tell you that this is, it's a little different than what you're talking about, because these folks are trying to purchase a house. But, you know, I talked with my nephew, and my nephew said, you know, Uncle John, he says, they have these stimulus programs and these things that I can apply for. He said, but I'm not going to apply for it. I don't need it. And I said, kiddo, the time to apply for it is when you don't need it.
That's exactly right.
I said, because when you need it, your credit's going to be in a
That's right.
situation. You're not going to have any money behind you, and you're going to be really in a bad position. Apply for it now. Better to not need it,
Yeah.
and to have it,
Yeah.
you know, than to need it and not have. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's crazy. It really is. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. You know, I tell folks right now, if you have a home and you own property, you control the entire market.
That's right.
You pretty
It's a
much can
seller's
name
market.
your ticket. So, you know, I tell everybody who owns a home, I say, listen, if at one point you thought I may want to sell my home, have somebody come in and just give you a price evaluation and say, hey, here's what I think it would be worth. And then say, show me what's actual, and then tell me what the anomaly is, right? Because
Yep.
if there's a chance of there being an anomaly, this is the market.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, and I don't think your hair looks poofy at all.
Yeah, I used a new conditioner, and it's a little poofy.
Doesn't it look good? I think it looks good. It makes
think
him
it looks
look
good?
younger.
It's got that lawn green look to it. Lawn green. When did you ever hear of it? You know, Lawn Green was Jewish.
Lord Green was
Lawn
Jewish.
Green was Jewish. So was Michael Landon. And
I knew Michael Landon was
yeah,
Jewish.
Yeah, which one of my favorite shows ever, Bonanza. I mean, I remember watching it with my dad.
Oh my gosh.
God, I love
Bring
that
it
show.
back. Long time.
But Jewish cowboy? I don't think so.
That's funny.
I just
love
don't
it. I
think
love
so. But be that as it may, let's talk about, you know, I mean, really and truly, there probably isn't an individual. Well, I'm not saying this because you're sitting here. I'm really not. People can Google your name
Yep.
under recruiting or Johnny Loewy training, right? .com.
Yeah, just Google
Loewy.
Johnny Loewy and
Yeah,
or
but there
Wall
is a
Street Journal.
specific one, JohnnyLoewyTraining.com, isn't
Yep, trainwithjohnny.com.
it? Yeah. There's probably very few people, if any, that have literally trained as many real estate agents as you have throughout the country in the last couple of decades. So now let's talk to them. COVID-19 is better than a year
Sure.
ago, but it's still a factor. People are not yet at a point, even though there's great virtual tours. In fact, what's the name of the thing you have on your website? I just went blank.
We actually took the liberty and hired our own photographer. And we do, for every one of our home listings, we do professional photos. We do a 3D Matterport tour.
Matterport. Yeah. Oh my God, this is Star
Oh,
Trek
it's beautiful.
stuff. Yeah,
And,
you're walking through the house.
And drone photography. So we shoot the outside of the house. We shoot from a sky view. We could shoot the clubhouse, all the amenities. And the cool thing about that is it allows somebody to buy a house sight unseen, literally sight unseen. You can look at the diagram, the floor plan. It's like somebody lifted up the roof
Yes.
of the house. You can see how far it is from the TV to the doorway. You can see how
You can
what
walk
the
through it.
distance. You can walk through the whole thing.
amazing,
You
yeah.
can see everything, every spot on the ceiling, every wall, everything. It's literally amazing.
It is.
And if you put one of those 3D goggles on, it literally feels like you're inside the house. It's
it's
over the top.
Now, if somebody would have said,
And here's the cool thing. They see it online, so you're able to see the house. You're able to look at it through, again, that's called a 3D Matterport tour. But the cool thing is they can write an offer on the property sight unseen. Now, some people are out there going, buy a home sight unseen? What is he, crazy? You still have an inspection period, right, where you're going to have the house inspected. During that inspection period, that's when the potential home buyer can take a look at the property, and at that point, they can say, hey, you know what? I'm out, right? It's not for them. But at least it puts them in a good position to get the house. But there's multi-offers. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to buy a home and you think you're going to get a deal in today's market,
ain't happening.
you're not. I apologize. You're not going to bid $20,000, $30,000, $50 grand, $100 grand below asking price and think they're going to look
do
at your
five
offer.
below.
There's folks paying over asking price. So if you don't need to buy and don't want to buy, don't buy, because right now, if you want to buy, you're gonna pay what the house is worth and maybe even then some.
What's to me so unusual is if you go back 13 months, let's say the December of 2020 or January of 2021, and somebody approached you as the owner of a national franchise, hey, I want to give you a tool that will allow your clients to buy a house sight unseen. As an expert, you might have come back and go, what's that for 1 out of a million people? Who the hell needs that?
I would have said,
COVID-19
not many
has
people.
made that reality. It's
true.
It's not just a little, though. People
It's a
are doing
lot.
it. And they're using that inspection time, as you said, as they're out. But we do a lot of mortgages with you,
Sure.
With your institution and with your company. People aren't backing out. Like you said, when you put on the goggles, you can see the water in the pool.
Amazing.
You see, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, as a dinosaur in the mortgage business myself, it is really amazing.
Yep.
So, what is your advice, to the realtors out there? Again, still got to wear your mask. I know all of your people and many other people too. I don't want to play such favorites. I really don't. But, they need to wear their mask. They need to wear their gloves.
Yep.
If the sellers are older, you have a set of rules, actually.
We follow, I own a company, Align Right Realty. We follow a different set of guidelines. We follow the guidelines that the CDC puts out for us, but we also want to take it a step above. So we took the liberty, we bought masks, gloves, safety kits, and what we do is we put together safety kits that have masks and gloves inside them, a health and safety questionnaire. And what we do is we provide these kits to a seller, and we say, okay, Mr. Seller, you're going to sell your house. Here's 10, 15 kits. Every time you know that there's a showing, hang one of these bags on your door.
Right.
We'll instruct that when the realtor comes in that we want them to put on clean gloves, clean masks when they enter the home, and then dispose of it before they leave. It's funny because I got calls from other agencies, other brokers, and brokers were funny. Brokers were saying, oh my gosh, how much are you charging? Is there a profit center there? And I said, no, we're just giving it to our people. And agents were saying, how much are you charging? I said, we don't charge. We're giving it to them. It's the right thing to do.
That's right.
So that's what we did to try to keep our people safe. We also, when buyers are coming through the house, we hit the buyer up and their realtor with a health and safety questionnaire. We hope that, between that and wearing the gloves and the mask, we're hoping that we're doing everything we can to take, safety precautions so that people can still get through that process. So, and also, here's the other thing. There's many of you guys, and I apologize, I know you said you'd give me a chance to chat about it, but there's many folks out there that are very intrigued by the real estate business and by our business and thinking, man, that might be something I want to do. I always considered myself more of a talent scout of, finding people who I thought should be in the business. And several months ago, we opened up, as you know, the Florida Real Estate College, and we got it approved by the state. We're located right in Temple Terrace, and we have campuses all around Tampa. Well, one thing that we pledged to do in Tampa to give back to the community was giving away 1,000 real estate scholarships, and that's for you to go to real estate school. It's a 63-hour class, but you can get your real estate license. And I tell folks, I say, even if you don't plan on being a top realtor or something like that, and that's something you weren't really thinking about, maybe it can be an extra career, maybe it could be an extra education if you're planning on doing investment properties. And nobody gets the better deals than
The
realtors who are on the front lines, right? So that's something. And by the way, you can go to floridarealestatecollege.com, floridarealestatecollege.com, check that out, and just scroll to the bottom of the page and apply for a scholarship. Tell us what your story is. Were you out of work? Did you get laid off? Are you ex-military? Were you a teacher? Did you work in the food and beverage industry? We want to give you a scholarship. We want to help you get on your feet. You heard Michael say, I'm a trainer and a coach. That's what I do. I teach people how to sell real estate and how to be successful in the business and be business owners. So, there's still lots of money to be made in the business, but realtors got to get out there and they got to hustle. I'm going to do a special shout out. One of my guys out there, I love this guy because he called me up and he said, Johnny, I got a situation. He said, I've got a buyer who wants to buy a home in this particular neighborhood. And I said, so what's the problem? He said, there's nothing available. I said, Brian, go knock doors in that neighborhood. Find out who's looking to sell their house. I said, tell him you got a ready, willing, and able buyer. He went out, he knocked doors, picked up 2 listings in that neighborhood, one which was $700,000. Yeah. And I said, see, I said, if you want to make the business happen, it can happen, but you got to hustle. You can't sit by your phone and wait for it to ring. You got to get out there and you got to beat the streets. You got to want to do good, right? You got to want to change people's lives, and you got to want to help people. If you want to do that, real estate was made for you. If you're just getting in for the money,
yeah,
don't waste your time.
Which is pretty much the same thing with a lot of things. If
you got to love it.
It's really amazing how many young people have forgotten.
But if you want to do it, I'll coach you.
You know, and you'll have the best coaching, there's no doubt. It really is amazing to me, because I ask people this, and, you know, suddenly I'm the oldest person in the room. I mean, there's you and I right here. There's a couple of people in the back, you know, in the control room. I'm the oldest person in the studio. But, you know, the American dream, Google this, people, is to own a home.
It is.
You know, people kind of have forgotten that, because people talk about our test scores as compared to China, and our pollution content compared to other smaller nations like Switzerland, and sometimes put us down. But we have more home ownership in this country by far than any other country in this, you know, in the world.
And we can make grandpas into grandmas and grandmas into grandpas.
That's right. We pretty much can do anything in this country. Although sometimes they do that. We have to go to Switzerland for that time. But be that as it may, yes, I'm just owning a home. I mean, people don't really realize I'm not a real estate agent, nor will I ever be. I'm a mortgage person. I'm very happy with that. But real estate employs 1 out of 5 people in the United States of America. No, I'm not saying that there's 100 million realtors, but between
thank God for that.
Yeah, there's close. No, there's not. But there's somewhere around 1.3.
There's going to be 1,000 more in Florida this year, because we're going to license 1,000 of them.
But when you take into consideration the appraisers, the title companies, the surveyors, everything that goes along with it, it's one of the most massive things in the country.
It's true.
When it slows down, the country hurts. You know, it's one of those.
Everything revolves around real estate.
It does.
Everything.
Yeah, including investments, which we'll talk about. I'm not going to talk directly about investments, but also a lot of people forget, especially in Florida, seniors, which is what this show is all about, or at least people approaching their senior years of their life. These 2% interest rates have not been good for them. You know, them having an annuity at 2.25%, or money in a money market at 1/4, or a savings account at 1/2, or a 1-year CD at 0.5%, where you and I, quite frankly, even though I'm a bit older than you, more than a decade older than you, let's face it, we need money. You're going to recruit more. You're going to sell a house. You have other streams of income. I'll write more mortgages. When you're 70 years old, 75 years old,
I'll still have a wife that's 60, so there is
yeah,
that.
there will be. She'll still be working.
That.
But besides that, and you retired 10 years earlier, and your CDs were paying 5.5, and your annuities were paying 7.5, and things in your savings were at 3. You drew off that. You know, you're in the portion of your life where your assets are decreasing because you're living from them. Now you take those same assets today, when your homeowners association has doubled, gas, which for some reason was at $1.90 a gallon, 6 months ago is back up to $2.30 a gallon of milk, whatever. Oh my God, medical expenses. Take all those interest rates that I talked about and put them down in the 1s and 2s. It is our moms and dads and grandmothers and grandfathers that are suffering by these low rates. And a lot of times, as people like us are out doing well, and I'm almost ashamed to say that, we've had this discussion, 2020 was one of the best years of my career. Here I had friends suffering. I have lost friends to COVID-19. There has been deaths. I've had people that lived through it, but had a very, very rough time living through it. And
there were some people I was able to avoid seeing because I blamed it on COVID. So that was,
just people you didn't like to begin with, so that was good. But I had a very good year. You had
I had a good year.
Realtors and mortgage people that were hustling, that were working, that were putting on their
But
gloves.
that's everything.
Yeah.
You got to work the hustle. That's everything. You got to work it. If you're going to sit on your butt,
You can say it.
okay.
Internet TV.
Oh,
he meant ass. He was going to say ass.
If you can, if you expect that you could sit on your ass and not do anything and make a living, I mean, there's many of you guys that are out there, and this is any business, whether you're a boat mechanic, a car mechanic, whatever it is, Uber driver, could be anything. If you hustle, you make money, right? So it's no different. I want to get you licensed. If you want to get your real estate license, you go on that website, Florida Real Estate College. I will be your coach, help you get licensed and start a new beginning. It's pretty awesome. So,
It is. It's a great way to make a living. It's very satisfying. And again, without being overly corny, you're helping people achieve the American dream.
It's
Corny
pretty
seems
awesome.
to have gone out of style.
No, it's really,
I don't know
awesome,
why.
though.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing I would rather do. So
Now let's talk a little bit about, because you've worked on this very hard. We got hundreds of people coming. What's happening Wednesday at the Florida Fairgrounds. I'll let you take this over.
gosh.
This is kind of exciting. Again, especially because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
It would have been exciting without it.
Sure.
But it's so relevant.
we
with
had
it.
to, it's funny because the real estate market, we were all yearning for something, right? Now, everybody's been so cooped up at home, and there's been, not a whole lot going on. So I said, my gosh, we got to do something. Realtors need to get out. They need to engage with people and still trying to keep safe, right? So we wanted to do a big event, but we were concerned, can you have it indoor? Then there's social distancing and all of this. And we said, gee whiz, how can we do this and have the community feel like, hey, everything's still alive, we're still moving, right?
Yeah.
And working together. So we contacted the state fairgrounds, and I said, let's do it at the state fairgrounds. They got this beautiful outdoor venue, these big, huge tents outside. I said, we can do it underneath the tent. We'll pray for good weather. You're Jewish, I'm Christian. Hey,
We'll pray, whoever it takes.
Hey, we do what we got to do. We got
do what we
direct
gotta
line.
do.
You got
That's
your
right.
people, I got my people.
It'll happen. Probably be a storm. We'll have to build an ark
It will be. You never
at
know.
this rate.
So we flew in Ed
With
Stullick.
masks, by the way.
Absolutely, always
Okay,
with
I
masks.
want you to know that.
Even,
We are taking
even for the
precautions.
animals. We
Yes.
put the mask on the animals
Yes,
too.
we are taking precautions.
But
no,
we-
tell them about that.
We did it. The mask on the animals? Or
No,
the-
Ed.
Sorry. So Ed Stullick is a Instagram guru. This guy is just all about social media. He's got just some really awesome, incredible tips that he teaches these guys to do that are so quick and easy and start bringing revenue and attract people, right? And connect agents with consumers to be able to help them achieve the American dream, right? What could be better than that? So Ed's flying in. He actually lands tomorrow. He's doing the event at the State Fairgrounds. I'm one of the speakers there as well. It's called Battle of the Realtors, high touch versus high tech. I always tell people, I say, I'm more of a high touch guy, right? You give me a telephone and a set of knuckles and I'm going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And when I say a set of knuckles, I don't mean like, I'm
Like
going to
boom.
give you, I don't mean like that. I mean, I can knock on a door, I can talk to people, I can pick up the phone, talk to people, I can make $1 million a year just with being able to do those two things. Well, does technology help us to be able to do business? It absolutely does help. But my thing that I'm trying to prove with doing this event is that when we say high technology versus high touch, it's not one against the other, right? And what I'm trying to prove is that you can have all the technology in the world. If you can't communicate with an individual,
That's right.
You're not going to get the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask, the fact that the agent knows Instagram, knows Facebook, do you give a rat's ass about that, or do you want somebody who's going to pick up the phone and be able to call you and talk to you? And I'm sorry, I don't mean
No,
to.
that's okay. No, it's so
but
true.
You need to be able to communicate, right? So our purpose of this event is to be able to say that you need the high technology, right? You need something high tech, but you also need to be able to communicate effectively with your consumer. So it's putting the two of them together to say, hey, Battle of the Realtors, but really it's about them two coming together. In fact, if you are thinking about getting in the real estate, or you just want to come out and take a look and see what's going on, State Fairgrounds, first 200 cars get free parking, free lunch. It's a great, great event. It's for realtors, by realtors. It's just going to be an incredible, incredible day. So come on out, State Fairgrounds, this Wednesday, from 9:30 a.m., February 24th, till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, State Fairgrounds.
Yeah, and and again, it's just so timely and relevant We need technology.
Yes.
We need the personal touch.
And we need to get out of our houses and come together.
Yes,
oh my
we do.
gosh.
I'm
When's
sorry.
the last time that we had that synergy? I know there's Zoom meetings and stuff, but it's
rough.
not like this, man. It's not like this.
It's the truth. You and I have talked about this over dinner. COVID-19.
And do you know they have me sitting on pillows right now?
Yeah,
by
we
the
were
way,
gonna tell
I am
anybody
sitting
that.
on 2 pillows because he was towering over me. I just want to
I
let
thought
you
we
know.
weren't going to tell anybody.
I know, but it was too funny, and I was slipping off the pillow, and I'm afraid I'm going to fall. It's a long way down. They're not touching the ground. You cannot see this on the camera.
Which proves you are ultimate proof that size doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Because you're Superman and you're. But now I lost my total train of thought of what I was
You
going
got
to
a
say.
box, Bill, that I can put my feet on here?
Okay. It's just so timely, though, Wednesday, because obviously we need technology. Oh,
Sure.
my. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when going out with a realtor, and the MLS was a book. A book. They were, yep, that's the.
We
and
had
then you
a
got
book,
there
and
with
then
a
we
key.
had a lead key, and you had to put the key
And
in.
what was in the box?
Spin the
Another
dial.
key.
You had to spin the dial and
Yeah.
then turn the key.
And then you got the key in the box to get it. Yeah.
Oh, Madonna mia,
but I
it
mean,
was
it's
crazy.
incredible. And when I first started doing mortgages, I mean, carbon paper and IBM Selectrics. Now you approve a mortgage in 3 minutes.
Yep.
Except for Rocket
You remember
Mortgage, they do-
paging? You remember
Oh, my
when you
God,
used
yeah.
to get the page? 911.
Yeah.
411 meant you needed information.
Yeah.
911 was,
When-
hey, you better get your ass on the phone and call
When I
home
first
now.
got my first cell phone, it was the big brick phone.
Sure.
But it was like $1.60 a minute.
Do you remember
so
that?
I carried the pager, which used to be a beeper, but then turned into a pager.
Yep.
And you would keep the phone off because it was so expensive. If it was a call from a realtor, you turned on the phone as a mortgage person. What do you want? But if it was your wife, you would wait until
Right.
you got back to the office or
That's
something
too
like
funny.
that.
I love it.
But yeah, I think Wednesday. Is anybody recording it by any chance? That's funny. I never asked that.
Do you
in
know,
those 2 weeks.
I wasn't having anybody record it. I probably should have, but I don't think I can pull that off at this late juncture.
You know what? The owner of this station, who had a little bit of a family emergency and had to run home, but we have Bob doing a great job. If you're
I keep calling him.
listening,
You keep letting me call him Bill.
yeah, well, he'll answer to anything. It's
Oh.
okay.
Thanks, Bill. Bob. Sorry, Bob. Bob. I like Bob better because you can spell it backwards.
And it's still Bob.
I love that. It's still Bob.
You know, we should ask John if he wants to come out. I mean, people sometimes don't realize, especially when we're doing something here together. But I
a
have
great
guests
studio.
from as far away as Israel, Canada, all over the country.
Even Atlantis.
Even Atlantis, yes, which is all that water is very rough. But we're sitting in a real TV studio. This is a 3-camera angle. This is real.
Actually,
it's not just
4 cameras. 1,
Well, that's just
2,
TVs.
3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Those are screens.
Oh.
But
No,
and that's a
right
light
there.
I think
There's the
that's a
camera
light.
right there.
I always thought that was a light.
Oh, looks like a camera.
It could be.
Could
But
be.
be that as it may.
It's to make me look taller.
Yes, that's the big one. Too. The point there. I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, yes, now I do.
Jarrell.
No, now I remember. Maybe we can get John out there to
That'd be awesome.
tape it and then get it out there to real estate agents all over the country.
Wow, that'd be
Since
kinda cool.
point blank, not only do I want to do business all over the country,
Sure.
you're opening up Align Rights all over the country.
Do you know-
I think this is going to be fun Wednesday.
I think it's gonna
and
be a
relevant.
great
That's
event.
That's what's different.
There's over 240 people RSVP'd so far, so it should be a pretty large event.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the biggest realtor event that we've seen in probably about 18 months.
Oh, I would say so.
So,
yeah.
so we're looking forward to a great turnout. So it's an opportunity for you to see if you want to get into the business, see what it's about, see what everybody's talking about, what the buzz is on the street. Check it out. You never know. You could love it. And don't be telling me, I just had somebody else tell me, I'm too old to get into real estate. I said, really? Are you kidding me? We have a gentleman got licensed, 78 years old. Come on, age is just a number. And shoot, I mean, why not?
No, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. No. All right, so let's talk about the senior market for a second. COVID-19 out of the picture. Let's hope that's the truth by the end of 2022. Not that I have any medical background or anything, but from what I read and see, this is with us for this year. The people that went by the end of 2020 were going to be fine, or the end of the first quarter of 21. I don't think so. I think we're going to be wearing masks and
I
taking
think we're going to be wearing
precautions through
masks
the end
for a
of this year.
while. I think that's just going to kind of be the way it's going to be for the next.
But there is a housing shortage in this country, and specifically, let's talk about the Carolinas, Florida.
Sounds like the shortage is getting less in the 55 or older. Probably. Sorry.
If they keep going to
Oh my gosh.
old age homes, it's going to get less quicker. But the truth of the matter is the Carolinas, Florida, Arizona,
Sure.
Nevada, of course, California.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people do not realize that living to be 90, and quite frankly, I wasn't exaggerating when I
My
did
dad's
this.
87
I
years
know.
old.
Yeah.
I picked my dad up with the convertible on Saturday. Oh my God, you should have seen. My dad's 87. He lives in a 55 and older community that's like not far from here. So I put the old man in my little sports car with the top down. You got to see all these older women come out of the house. Oh, John, who is that? Is that your son? I said, Pop, you need a convertible.
That's right.
I said, you are going to be the cat's meow in this community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, anyway.
But people, I don't think, are realizing. I think we talked about it months ago when you were on here, and we're still doing good on time, which usually you and I run out of time, usually when we're together. There is no doubt that in the next 15 to 20 years, it's not going to be 50% people make it to 90. It's going to be 95 to 100. We have more medical and scientific breakthroughs coming. There is no doubt about that.
Can I ask a question?
Good.
It did say that people are living to 100, but it also said venereal diseases are running rampant in
In Florida.
Yes. in adult
They are. They
in
are.
assisted living communities.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Well, you know, it's not a, it's a serious matter.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's people laugh at it. But
I said
there
that
are
to my
certain
dad. My dad goes, you know, I'm not surprised that that's happening. I said, Dad, really? I said, these are in like assisted living. He goes, well, you know, they don't got anything else to really focus their attention on there,
Yeah.
John. So,
And
you know.
And you know what? The truth of the matter is there are some PUDs. That's not dirty, by the way. That's a PUD, Plan Unit Development. There are some large ones in the state of Florida where the actual reports of venereal diseases have gone up to
Like,
record
I'm
highs.
not kidding.
No,
Like,
I know.
This is true, real
Over
stuff.
the last 10 to 15 years, the little blue pill, you know, has changed life
My goodness.
for many older people. Yeah, hey, you know what? That's a thing. They don't have to worry about getting pregnant.
Great.
You know, they got to keep up their strength for pickleball, but other than that, they don't really, you know.
It's a whole new light
It
to
makes
the
me
term
looking forward to
pickleball.
getting old, but we keep getting off the point. But I'm going to get back to this point before we go. The truth of the matter is, when even now,
Do you know, if my wife would have said to me, honey, let's play pickleball, I would not have known that
I
it
don't
is
even-
the
I didn't know
sport
what
that it
pickleball
is.
was till 18
I would have
months ago.
said, oh my gosh, honey, sign me up.
Yeah,
When
really.
do we get started?
Yeah.
But
It actually looks
apparently, it's like tennis.
no, it's tennis with
it's
half
tennis
the court.
and half the court and like a bigger ball, right?
Yes.
Isn't it like a bigger
Yes,
ball, like
yeah.
a big
and
tennis
it's
ball?
a thing. I mean, this ain't just little. It's everywhere. People love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Hey, power to them. My problem is, I'm gonna make this point with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go. There's already senior shortage of housing.
There is.
Okay? When we start living to be 95 to 100, people are not getting the fact there's not going to be enough food. There's not going to be enough houses. The biggest electric companies in the world are not geared to put that out.
It's true.
It's, but you're laughing. I don't know why. Longer lifespans is something that no one is dealing with.
It's true.
And it's going to change the world, not in 100 years, in the next couple of decades. And I don't know why people aren't discussing it more. I know there's, I don't know, I was going to say there's more important things. There isn't more important things. I mean, you know, there's not going to be room for them.
Do you know, I think the communities like the Villages, like Top of the World, and, you know, where there are golf course
Yeah.
communities and golf cart communities, I think those have a great place. But I'm seeing now more and more people want to stay in their home. And
Yes.
more
Oh.
and more people would rather stay in the home and find a way to make it maintenance free, try to find a way to
A zero lot line home, you know?
Sure. Or, you know, some folks are even looking at the possibilities of duplexes, living on one side, renting out the other.
Yeah, reverse mortgages to get rid of their payment.
I have been talking to my dad about
I know.
reverse mortgages, and I got to tell you, I want to shake him. I'm like, do a reverse mortgage. And he keeps saying to me, he says, well, I can't leave you the house. I said, no, you can. can leave the house.
That's right.
I said, but now, I said, Pop, you get rid of the mortgage payment, you put the money in your pocket.
That's right. And
Now,
sleep good.
And I said, and you're good.
And you
can-
still get the house.
And I said, spend the money on FilipinoCupid.com. That's what I told him. He doesn't listen.
Get a convertible.
I get him. He needs a convertible.
He needs a.
Oh my
Does he
God!
still have his license?
I had never seen so many older women come
Which car
out
did you
of the
bring
car.
when you
I
took him
bought
out?
the nice one.
You brought the nice. Tell
I
them
bought
which
the
one.
nice one. No, I'm not going to.
Come on, you can tell them.
No, but he was in that car. Oh my God! There's one woman who he's got the hot.
Does he
for,
still have his driver's
came
license?
out and she's going, "Oh my God, your father! Give him the keys. He can take me for a ride in this." My dad's going, "I'll take you for a
So
ride."
you said he does have his driver's license?
Oh yeah, he drives. Not well, but you know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
Thank
people.
God for drunk bumps, right? He's
Right.
like, I drive by Braille, Johnny. I
Yeah.
drive by Braille.
One hand on the wheel, one hand on the road. Yes. It's well, you probably know better than I. It was just a couple of years ago. We passed 20 million people in the state of Florida. We're the size of New York at this point.
Wow.
20 million people, 6 million cars.
Wow.
Of course, what's staggering about that is they're all light blue Mercury Marquis. That's really, you go on the, and they all have their left turn signal on, which
Yes,
is really
and they're
amazing.
all in the left
Do they
lane.
make McLarens with left turn signals
Maybe.
that never go off? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All I know is get out of the left lane.
Get out of the
That's it.
left lane.
Why are you in the left lane?
Well, we've covered Wednesday.
Yep.
We covered senior housing. We
You
have
know,
6 minutes left to go.
and
Do you want to?
talking about senior housing? Do you know? Here's. I think you're going to see more and more builders start
Yes.
to attack that type of market.
They better.
It's just not as much as I think, and from what I've seen, they're really focusing like top of the world, Village is a Lady Lake, that it's an entire community.
Yeah.
I think that when a lot of the developers and builders tried to section off a piece of a community and say that that was the 55 and older, I just don't know that it had as much of an impact on the 55 and older
Right.
market as sectioning. My dad lives in an area where part of it's 55 and older and part of it's not. And I brought him into some of these other communities and he says, wow, I really like these other communities.
Well, and you know why? Because, Trinity, I'm sure you're familiar with
yeah.
Trinity. That's a beautiful area, and a
great.
section of it is 55 and over. But 55 and over meant X 20 years ago.
Sure.
But that's when people were dying in their late 70s, early 80s. 55 and over, now that we're living to 90, that's why I'm saying this longer lifespan thing has such far-reaching.
Absolutely.
When you're 55, you live with people in their low to mid-60s, you're in the same age bracket.
Right.
When you're 55 and everybody on your block is 82, you're not enjoying your retirement.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like Social Security. I always think they have to raise the Social Security age. Totally different topic, but I think we're going to start seeing 65 and above communities, 75 and above communities. And I think we have to.
Would be surprised.
Also, as the latest statistics say, that people that go to 55 and above communities, the last 2 years, last 2 or 3 years, statistics are saying most of them are moving one more time before death. Whereas when they moved in, they went, no, it's a 55 and older, this is where we want to live.
It's true.
But the majority of them, like 70%, are moving again.
What do you think? I've got something even more important to ask because I know we only have
You
like
have
2
that
minutes
twinkle
left.
in your eye, though, so
We
I
only
don't know
have 2
what.
minutes left.
We don't know what's coming, ladies and
What
gentlemen.
is with the silver alerts on the signs?
Oh, yeah.
When you're driving down the highway, it says silver alert,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I see them all the time.
It always means that somebody over the age has, did they escape? Like, what?
That's what it means. Yes.
What did they do? Silver alert, 1987 Buick Skylark, last seen
I think it's-
cruising on Highway 19.
I think it's for children, though.
I always no, that's the Amber Alert. Silver
Oh, that's
Alert
right.
is
Silver
when
is
they're
old
older.
people?
Yes.
Well, a lot of people think the guardhouses and the gates on the senior properties, all seriousness, are to help keep people out, but it's actually to keep seniors in.
For
'Cause
real?
they're escaping all the
I
time.
always think, I'm like, what is the woman driving down Highway 19 in Newport Richie going, I gotta get to the sale. I
Yeah.
gotta get to the
I
sale.
gotta get to- yeah, there's a blue line.
and the guy is going, I'm going to the strip club. I haven't been there in forever.
And he doesn't remember what it's for.
So I
to him,
just, the
topless
Silver
means
Alert-
no upper teeth.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I
Well-
always see those and I always wonder, wonder, what
Why?
did this
I
guy
do too. Yeah, yeah.
And is he out having fun? Life is so short. I think when I see Silver Alert, I say, God bless him. I hope he's
Oh,
out
I
there
hope you
having
escape.
fun. Hope he had fun.
What was
Escape,
that movie with
be
Jim Carrey?
free.
What was that movie with Jim Carrey where he lived in a make-believe world?
No,
It was like huge. Somebody tell me. Somebody in the back tell me.
I always think of Free Willy.
Jim Carrey wasn't in Free Willy.
No, but I think of when I
No,
see the
it was
Silver
so
Alerts,
famous.
I
He
think of
won
Free
awards for-
Willy. I think, oh my God, Free Willy, like when Free Willy had
Oh,
to
I
jump
got it.
over the wall to be free. I think that's the Silver Alert. It's like
It's
the
the Michael
80-year-old
Jackson
man.
song.
He's like, I got to be free.
Yeah.
And
Michael
he
Jackson
jumps.
was singing that.
Right, could be.
All right. Well,
Just saying, hey.
we just got totally off topic. We're now into Wales. But Wales.
Hey, we always have fun.
What?
Truman Show.
Oh, that's the
The
Truman
Truman
Show.
Show.
I
I
have an
forgot
entire
about
staff in
that.
the back that picks
Oh
up
my
knowledge for
gosh.
me. It's a very small
That's
staff,
awesome.
but it's a staff. The Truman Show. Did you ever watch
That's
it?
it.
I'm being serious.
I've
You
watched
cry at the end because everybody's going as he's going against the fake Ocean and Storm because the TV company doesn't want him to escape because he's owned by the TV company.
Right.
But everybody wants him to escape. I guess that's what the Silver Alert is.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about next week for a second. You know, every now and then, because we talk about serious stuff, whether it's real estate or long age or long-term care insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, about 6-7 months ago, we brought in an hysterical national comedian. We sat at this desk, and all he did was tell jokes for an hour. In fact, we set up chairs here, which we never have,
That's
and we had
hilarious.
live people here, hysterical. G. David Howard. We're going to bring him back soon. Next week, we're going to do something that's, I won't say lighthearted, but a little more for the public and kind of incredible. But we are going to blend it into something very relevant. We're going to be bringing on Miss Catherine Schaefer next week.
Oh my
Who is
gosh,
a-
you're kidding.
Yes. The crowd goes wild. I only
amazing.
have 50 seconds. I got to do this. Catherine, although has been ranked nationally since she's 10 years old in the junior golf world, she made kind of history and broke into the phenom world about a month ago by placing second in the Florida Women's Championship amateur part. Second. Par playing from the same tees as the big boys, as the quarterbacks, came in second and really should have come in first. We'll go into that. But Catherine's mother, Marjorie, and Catherine are joining us. We're going to have some video. Watching this 14-year-old young woman play golf, and I'm not a golfer, is like watching
amazing.
Michael Jordan take off from the foul line and dunk it. But we're also going to bring in, oh my God, 3 seconds. Look at this. Bad timing. Thank you. You're going to enjoy next week. I can't believe we did that.